Hey, welcome back to Clean Cut, where we can talk about the truth about just about anything, as long as we use logic and common sense.
This season, we're looking at the miracles of Jesus to see what they can tell us about God and His promises to the faithful. Last time, we talked about the resurrection of Jesus. Today, what we can learn from the miracles. It's pretty plain from these miracles that Jesus has bigger plans for us than the shackles of mortality and physical law allow for. Sickness, wounds, and death take advantage of our mortality to threaten us, as do starvation, excessive thirst, and vulnerability to the elements and natural disasters. Yet Jesus has an answer for all of these things, healing illnesses and wounds of all kinds, multiplying food, turning water into wine, and even calming harsh weather. Physical laws also impose severe and harsh limits on our abilities in life, generally speaking. However, Jesus' ability to walk on water and his many incredible abilities in the resurrected body show that these limits are neither a necessary part of existence nor a permanent state of affairs for individual people. Just as God intended for each of us to live in heaven with him one day, so he intended for the limits of the physical world to be a temporary restriction that we won't always need to suffer under. Of course, not all of our physical limits are general ones, common among all mortal men. Some people suffer fates that others don't. Blindness, deafness, muteness, lameness, paralysis, physical deformities and weaknesses, and many more exist as limits that particular people wrestle with, even though many others don't. Yet Jesus shows his ability to cure them just the same as a wound or a sickness. Just because not everyone suffers under some particular affliction doesn't mean that Jesus doesn't have a way to deal with it. The love of Jesus for his children is different from the laws of supply and demand that govern your average economy. Economies may not offer what a person needs to overcome some problem they have, if that problem is solvable but isn't extremely common. God isn't the same way. He wants to help each of us overcome our own problems. Mortality and our own limits are two of our biggest enemies, but we do have other enemies as well, both mortal and spiritual. Men and women who want to trap or kill us, and evil spirits who want to lead us astray or even control us. Again, the miracles of Jesus demonstrate his ability to overcome these dangers by curing people possessed by evil spirits and enabling people to escape miraculously from danger. Jesus has also demonstrated the ability to grant miraculous success to people, like St. Peter catching a miraculously huge number of fish, or when he found money in the mouth of a fish, which was just enough for his needs and those of Jesus. These were both miracles of Jesus offering Peter enough success in some earthly pursuit to allow him to continue his more important work. Likewise, by giving Peter and the other apostles the authority to perform miracles, Jesus offered them a higher form of success, and one that would be instrumental in their work of preaching and making converts. With the withering of the fig tree, we see that not being fruitful, or lapsing in fruitfulness, can carry serious consequences, but that amazing things can be done with enough faith. The other miracles of Jesus show us who he is. By giving us his body and blood to save us from our sins, he demonstrates his divine authority to forgive sins. By the transfiguration, he shows his divinity even more clearly, and the resurrection vindicates his claims and his teachings, including his claim to be God. No single verse or combination of verses can exhaustively describe the contents of an infinite home like heaven, but at least we know a few more things about what God has planned for us there based on the miracles of Jesus. A continuation of faithfulness and fruitfulness, recognition of the truth of his identity, and an end to death, sickness, injury, domination by enemies in the natural world, and by the limitations that keep us from reaching our higher potential. In short, a far greater life and a far greater freedom. Now that's a gift worth sacrificing to receive. Next time, we'll begin a new season, looking at the topic of the calendar and special seasons of the church. See you then.
That's all for now, so keep asking questions, and thanks for watching.